Hello there, and welcome to Grenmania! That's right, we're taking Grens into an op. And fortunately, I want to throw out a disclaimer right now. Thank you to the task force that I am currently residing in for letting me do silly things like this and not making fun of me and shaming me out of Boom Beach. So, I figured, alright, you know what, I get whacked by grenadiers all the time, and they roll up on my cannons in the front row, and their grenadiers sit just outside of range of the cannons, and they blow them up, and they destroy everything, and they don't have a single loss. So clearly that is exactly what I'm going to do my first time dropping grenadiers, or, well, pretty close to it. And, well, it turns out you need some skill to play a troop type. Amazing, right? Blows your mind. So I'm taking out some rocket launchers. Really, that is my true ultimate goal of this attack, is to take out the 3 rocket launchers, and then I screw it up that badly where I completely miss the second rocket launcher with 2 artilleries. So I'm trying to take out the 3 rocket launchers in that cluster, and I got 2 of the 3, and then take out the 2 rocket launchers that were over here beside the cannons, which should have been all fun and games and easy to do, except that, well, it wasn't fun and easy to do, and I screwed it up, but that was my fault, not the Grenadier's fault. So we're not going to hold it against them, even if they are drunk, and I'm attacking as if I'm drunk, just having a contact high from them, basically, you know, and roll past the Grens, it smells like gasoline, and you're like, ooh, I'm lightheaded, let me attack an op and do the worst possible things ever. And so I did. So yeah, anyways, it was worth a shot. Thanks again to the task force I'm in for putting up with me failing epically and not even calling me out on it. So, with having gotten my butt quite thoroughly kicked, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna roll back. I'm gonna do some NPC bases here. Gonna try some things out. Going to, you know, kind of take it down a notch. I don't feel comfortable or confident enough to really go all out on some player bases, but at least I can learn how to use my Grens, because in the grand scheme of things, like, that's really what this is. That's what you're watching right now. This is me learning how to use Grens, or at least making an attempt at using the Grens, because I never used them, really. I know I've had a lot of requests and a lot of people being like, hey, use Grens, do some Gren videos, I'd love to see some Grens, do Grens. Unfortunately, because they're one of the later troops in the game, and I already had, you know, other troops going, or at least I had an understanding of the other troops, I kind of used them, and then when I got the Grens and of course tried them out at level 1, they sucked compared to all of my other stuff that I had leveled up extensively. So, you know, the poor Grens didn't get really a fair shake at it. But I, for the longest time, have had them clocked in as, like, yes, once my team ed is maxed out, I'm going to start working on the Grens. And then I was like, alright, well, let's be honest, warriors need to be maxed too. And Zooka for doing ops. So, like, the list kind of got bigger and bigger, and then I was like, okay, but once I'm done upgrading all of those things, I'm gonna max the Grens. So, I've officially, as of this video, maxed out my medics, so my team ed is now officially maxed. Like, literally, as of the filming of this, and I started another Gren level upgrade also. Right now they're chilling at 5, they're chilling like a villain, which, for the grand scheme of things, like, I'm taking on higher level NPC bases. Level 40 or 57 I think is about the lowest, maybe 56 to 60 is like the average level of the stuff I'm taking on, and they're actually doing all right. Like, I'm losing a Gren or two here or there, but that's partially because I'm learning, partially because they really are kind of under-leveled in comparison to my other stuff. So, where I could normally get away with, say, taking a couple of shots from a rocket launcher, with the Grens, a little more careful, but that's okay. It's all part of the learning curve, and they're only going to get more hit points as I level them up, which will make them easier and easier to work with, which is fan-freaking-tastic. And I guess it kind of offsets the fact that they're such low level by having really high level medics backing them up. Now, here is where I kind of started to learn things and get smarter. I was talking about how the cannons never kill any of the Grens that attack my base, and I tried it on the op and got ruined oh so furiously, and I feel that this might be why. When you drop a whole bunch of a specific troop and you drop them all together, they kind of clump up, which means that some of them will move forward beyond where they would normally go, just so that they can make up lines, and you can actually see it on the left cluster of grenadiers there. There's like 2 rows almost, where they're just tossing at that cannon. Now, if you've got, say, 8 grenadiers, that's absolutely fine, totally cool. They, will all fit in there and everybody will live happily ever after. But it's when you drop in, say, 20 grenadiers, they start piling up, and you're going to see right here, you end up with more and more rows of the grenadiers moving forwards and backwards, and in this case, getting a little blown up because, well, they're right in that hot spot there. Which is okay, it's Gren Mania, it's next to nothing to replace them. Why would I not want them to blow up? Like, Scorcher Mania, it was funny, we were actually talking about it in Task Force chat, and I stopped for a minute, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I kind of missed out on Scorcher Mania, because I basically loaded my boats one time, and then wiped everything on my map out. Like, I didn't get to really enjoy the Scorcher Mania, because you don't need to load more than once. They're that epic. But with the Grenadiers, there's that learning curve there, you kind of have to figure out how things work, which means the loss of many a Grenadier, which I'm totally good with, because it's Grenadier Mania, so it's wicked cheap to replace them. Hey. So anyways, yeah, like, having a lot of fun, I guess, exploring the Grenadiers and seeing what I can get away with and what they're capable of. And I'm surprised, considering they're, like, less than half of their max level. They seem to really still be pretty powerful. Like, they seem capable of doing some pretty intense stuff, which is kind of exciting, because it makes me feel like when I get them finally maxed out, which will be happening eventually, I think I've got, like, what, 7 levels left? If they're level 5 and they go to, I think, 12 or 13. Anyways, I'm not going to worry about the actual numbers, but if I've got to do 7 upgrades, and they're about 4 days per upgrade, I'm looking at, like, a month. But in a month, my Grenadiers should be maxed out. Unless, of course, I take a moment and upgrade my Riflemen, because my wee Riflemen are still like level 12 or 13 or something ridiculous. They just have not been getting any love, but they will. They really will eventually, because after Rifle Mania, where I was just like, why are these so powerful at this level? What's going on? I absolutely have to, work up the Riflemen. So maybe one day we'll have, like, Rifle Grenadier video or something silly, just to do a victory lap of my armory being completely maxed out. Because really, that's kind of what it comes down to. I've got the grenadiers and the riflemen, and then at the very end the Cryoneers, which they've kind of fallen to the same sort of stigma as the grenadiers, where I had all these troops that I was already upgrading, already working with, already had an understanding of, and by the time I finally got the Cryoneers, I was like, well, I've got all these other things that I want to do first, so I'm not going to worry about them yet. I'm going to upgrade them eventually and use them, and I'm not going to lie, it doesn't hurt that they suffer from the slightly Scorcher-esque AI, where they just kind of wander off and go take on their own fights. You know, that's rough. I had the one time I used the Cryoneers, I just watched the entire boatload one by one walk away, and I was just like, no, all my gold. But that's okay. So, like, eventually the Cryoneers will get in there. Maybe I'll have to do some, like, really silly combinations just to see what works and what doesn't. I've already kind of fallen in love with the Grens. I can definitely see myself doing it some more. I'm actually going to be doing it on the Dr. T again, just to see if, like, hey, was Dr. T really that easy, or are the Grens really that OP? And I kind of look forward to trying that out. I think it's going to be a fun little video, especially with I guess it's Tropical Island, because the maps tend to be a little bigger, a little more spread out. There's more defenses, but they're lower levels, which I feel like the mid-level grenadiers would really take advantage of that and really kind of do well having a lot of different things close together that they can just blow up, but aren't that high level, so the fact that the Grens damage is so low doesn't completely ruin them. And then, as you can see with high stakes here, I'm kind of trying to learn how to deal with freaking shock launchers, and all of the critters is the answer, because that is the one thing I am... Oh, look at that friendly fire. That is just too beautiful. I realize it's my own critters, but I absolutely love watching them, like, go into that sea of explosions, booms, whatever we want to call them. I love watching them go into that sea of booms and just, like, get vaporized. It's kind of the same feeling I get when I watch a whole bunch of Zookas just get vaporized on, like, say, a Hammerman or something. Anyways, I realized, actually, with that last level, with the tossing of the insane amounts of critters on the shock launchers, is I'm throwing out some stuff here and there, you know, like support, if you want to call it that, with the gunboat, but for the most part, the Grenadiers are kind of towing through this without too much love. Like, yeah, I'm taking out the occasional boom cannon, and I'm throwing a medkit and shocks every once in a while, but I'm ending most of my attacks with an excessive amount of GBE, and I'm kind of trying things out here on the shock launchers, just getting used to, like, hey, what's the best way to take out 4 shock launchers in a cluster like this with critters? Well, my Grenadiers work on other things, and critters be gone. That's also kind of a big adjustment, where I normally throw critters to try and do extra damage to an HQ, but you gotta be really careful when you're rocking the Grenadiers, because friendly fire will take out those critters 9 times out of 10. Which I guess is okay, but it's different than what I'm used to. So, you know, it's one of those little things. A lot of those little things kind of added up through the day as I learned how to properly handle the Grens. or at least tried to learn properly how to handle the Grens. Obviously, angling is very big. Like, if you can get some sort of building, a machine gun, or something silly in between you and your actual target, it's really nice. You tend to mess some things up, in a good way mess things up, and I don't know, and it's worth a shot. Like, this one, I thought I was doing really good, but then I realized, whoa, I gotta be careful with the old mortars. While one mortar or two mortars is cool, that many, not so much. You gotta be careful. And anyways, I hope overall this has been helpful and entertaining, and most importantly, you guys have some fun with Gren Mania. Hopefully whip out your Grens, even if they're a low level, give them a whirl. And of course, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.